There is and has always been a global conspiracy against the sovereign psyche. An ongoing war through subliminal programming, hypnosis and word spells. With cunning and covert expression, the third eye has infiltrated the minds of all who have interest in certain knowledge and topics, or those who according to their experience have achieved certain mental states, or the ones who claim to have insight into particular hidden operations or motives, etc. This is the third placement of what all masters, sages, seers of antiquity has known as the Pahali Ankh, by the Hindu occult students of Shaivism, as the Ayen Reshwan, by the Kabbalistic high priests of archaic Israel, and the Primus Oculus by the mystics of the Greco-Roman Empire, as well as all true Hermetic, Rosicrucian and Freemasonic clandestine circles. This is the first eye. The third eye placement doctrine that has blinded the entire world has a hidden meaning and intent. The third eye acknowledgement phenomenon is not by accident and is masked as a resurgence of consciousness and a false awakening of the masses. Yes. All third eye information and knowledge is skewed, warped, incomplete, and promulgated by the nefarious and ultra-blind teachers and speakers. The eye you saw with while in your mother's womb was not your flesh eyes in front of your face. The original eye, the first eye, is what the world ignorantly refers to as the third eye, placing one of either the left or right eyes primary and the mind's eye, the inner eye, the first eye, in third place. In this we will not go into the details of the operations of the two flesh eyeballs which are of no concern here. When operating from the first eye of an opposite, another person, a first eye that is not yours, you become the third eye, seeing through the first eye of the one you give your allegiance to, attention to, and adherence to. When a person is looking at you, facing each other, exchanging ideas, interchanging energies, accepting impressions and etc., you are only going according to the two eyes you see looking at you and your first eye, your inner eye, clothing the object with the positive or negative thoughts of your mind's eye which is the first observer, the first eye. Also the thoughts and ideas of the one beholding you is coming from their first eye, not the two eyes looking at you. It is so detrimental to understand that it was so necessary for the sound and symbol of what establishes an individual's identity to be exactly what sounds like what is needed to have individuality and an identity, I, and I, as in, I am. This is not a mere accidental homophone, this is intentional wordcraft and word magic. Those that have an I am to see, let them I am. When operating from the I am or the first eye of another person, you relinquish your rights and your lefts, becoming the right or left eye of the one observing you, which is the third eye, going either direction wherever wanted by the first eye of him or her. The human being possesses three eyes, and just as there are three initial degrees of Freemasonry and until reaching the last one which appears to be the third one, but without that so-called 3rd degree none can enter any other degrees above it. That first degree before all other degrees must be obtained. Just as all master builders who have created great sites for all eyes to see were seen first in the mind of them. How can a spiritual person enunciate third eye referring to the first eye concerning spiritual matters, by placing the material/physical eye's observations first? This information goes beyond the gland. If the first shall be last and the last shall be first, shall it be fulfilled that the two front eyes will be last recognized and the eye that was last placed be the first, and I, if I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me. John 12 verse 32 KJV. The first eye being the primary seat of the soul, is in direct agreement with the matters of the heart, for first eye is first eye. First eye. I come first. Before all and above all, knowledge of self and the principle of self-preservation. With understanding the truth about the glorious first eye and third eye, it would be blasphemy to refer to the Primus Oculus, the eye that precedes all sight, as one of the two meat viewers, a horrible and damned position for the cardinal beholder. And will see the diabolical agenda to hold claim on your brain's throne right in your first eye and right before your two flesh-observing appendages. This is important because since ancient times the first eye was not just an occurrence formed from the meat sack bone bag that the first eye operates in, not at all. The first eye was and is literally a direct copy of the eye of the all-mind, the eye of eyes that sees forever, creating from the invisible, visible only by one, you. This is esoteric information, but what is esoteric knowledge in the age of Aquarius? Now is the time for the ultimate doctrine and truth to be known, the Primus Oculus, the first eye. And he who lives the life shall know the doctrine. The time is now for us who recognize the rightful place of the one true observer, those of us who had not to develop the original sense, to attain your absolute, the ones of you who cut off the forced hypnotic rhythm of the husks and shells of self, wherewith the hive mind is happily supplied with identification confirmation. Mystery of the Inri. John 19 verses 19 to 20 KJV, and Pilate wrote a title, and put it on the cross. And the writing was, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. This title then read many of the Jews, for the place where Jesus was crucified was nigh to the city, and it was written in Hebrew, and Greek, and Latin. The initials, ENRA, stands for the Latin imprint, IESVS Nazarenes Rex Ividorvm, Jesus Nazarenus, Rex Iudiorum, which in English translates to, Jesus the Nazarene, King of the Jews. INRI is the message that was posted above Jesus Christ while being crucified according to the story. Let us establish some details before we go further. In Western Christianity, most pictures of Jesus on the cross have a sign above his head with the letters ANRI in Latin. This sign is often carved on the cross, right above Jesus' head. People started using the abbreviation INRI instead of the full inscription around the 10th century, as seen on the Jarrow cross in Cologne around 970 AD. However, this is only the exoteric information given to the sheep and masses. Matthew 27 verse 33 KJV, and when they were come unto a place called Golgotha, that is to say, a place of a skull. The hidden message in the imprint above Jesus being crucified is, inner eye. INRI equals INN, E, RI equals inner eye. INRI equals INN, E, RI equals inner eye. INRI or inner eye is the message all Jesuits, Rosicrucians, Christian mystics, and the like secretly know when looking at the image of the crucifixion. This is what your priests and pastors are appointed to hide from the people, sacrificing your inner eye, the first eye. INRI represents the concept of the inner, symbolizing the awakening of inner consciousness and spiritual insight. This inner eye is often associated with the pineal gland, located within the human skull, not to be confused with the accursed third eye, which is the total opposite of the inner eye, also known as the first eye. This inner eye goes beyond the pineal gland and in this case enters forms of higher consciousness, insight and observation through sacrifice of self and entering the consciousness of all people by being the ultimate example of the God mind or the mind of the all. John 14 verse 2 KJV, in my Father's house are many mansions, if it were not so, I would have told you. According to ancient esoteric teachings, such as those of the Essenes and early Gnostics, Jesus Christ, or Yeshua, can be seen